Hey guys, Joe Massey here, Castle and Cook Mortgage. Today is Friday, April 11th. Hope everybody's having a great day, ready for a big weekend of open houses and buyer traffic. Weather's supposed to be great on Saturday, might be a little snowy on Sunday, but should be a really good weekend for getting out and looking at new properties. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about a really common problem that I'm hearing in our market, and that is buyers' contracts not being accepted or being outbid or not able to get the right price for our buyer. And wanted to go through a 5 or 6 step process that I have that will help you and give you some ideas on how to get your contracts accepted. So I put together a short PowerPoint presentation. Let's take a quick look at it, and I really hope that this will be helpful for you guys. I know you guys have a lot of people that are pre-qualified, a lot of people that are out looking, and I want to do anything I can to help make sure you guys can get these people under contract. Okay, so let's talk about how to get your offers accepted. We've spent a lot of time in the past talking about different tricks you can use. Of course, offering a higher price is always good, more earnest money, less contingencies in your contract, things like that. But in certain cases, especially with first-time home buyers or primary residence buyers, you may not be able to waive your inspection. You may not be able to waive your loan conditions deadline. You're not going to have $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 to put down in earnest money. So I wanted to cover today some options that you guys can use with all regular residential buyers to help get your offers accepted. All right, we've got to find a way to cut through the clutter and really serve our buyers and represent their best interests to get their offers accepted when we have a tight market like this. So number one, letter of explanation from the borrower. We've talked about this in the past. We call it a love letter. All right. In this letter, you want the customer to write why they're looking for a home. They really like the school district. They've got a growing family. They need more bedrooms, whatever. Okay, make the contract or make your offer real. It's got to be tangible, that you've got to have a real person behind it. It's not just a $200,000 offer. It's a $200,000 offer from Bob and Jane and their 2 children. Okay, you've got to get some feeling behind it. So the buyer letter is very important. And then why are they a good candidate for the seller? Hey, we've got a stable job. We've saved for the down payment. We're ready to buy a house. We're familiar with the area. You want to cover why they're a good candidate. And so a heartfelt letter from your buyer is really going to go a long ways. So next we want to have a pre-approval from your lender. Now, a pre-approval is better than a pre-qualification letter. So a lot of you guys have worked with me. You know that we will get somebody pre-qualified within 15 minutes. It's very, very quick, very easy process. As soon as they give us all their verbal information, we will send you the pre-qualification letter. Now that's based on their verbal information and their credit report. In order to get a pre-approval, the customer needs to provide their pay stubs, their tax returns, and their bank statements to prove that the verbal information they gave us is really accurate and correct. So a pre-approval is going to be a lot better than a pre-qualification letter. All right, you want to also make sure that it has the exact dollar amount that they're offering. You want to say if we're looking to buy a $300,000 home, they're pre-approved for $300,000, not $280,000, not $290,000, or oh, we'll get it corrected later. You want to make sure you're on top of your game. Next one, have a bank statement with the proof of funds. Okay, this is a big question that I get from people. A listing agent will call me, hey, I want to see, Mr. Smith on their pre-approval, do they actually have the funds in the checking account for their down payment? Or is it gift funds or whatever? So this is a big one. If you can have your buyer print out the bank statement, have the proof of funds, hey, we're putting on the contract that you have $20,000 down payment, and here's your bank statement that shows you have $25,000 in the bank, that's great. Now, a lot of people are nervous about sending out their bank statements. Black out the account number. This is not a formal application that you're making with a lender, so, since this is going to the seller, these forms can be altered if you want to. Black out the account number, protect your privacy, but make sure they can see your name and make sure that the seller can see your balance that you have. Make sure it's a recent statement and it shows the full down payment. If it only shows $10,000 and the statement is 6 months old and you're trying to make a $20,000 down payment, that's not really good. Make sure that it's relevant. Next one, of course, is your contract. Okay, this is generally what everybody sends over, just the contract. I met an agent the other day, and she was sorting through contracts on our conference room table. She had 17 offers, and she just had them spread out and was going through each one of them. And I think if you had a cover letter and some other items, it's probably going to help your contract stand out a little bit. But on your contract, you want to do a few things. Number one, write a good contract. Pay attention to your dates. Make sure you've got the right legal description. Make sure you have the right property address. Make sure the buyer and seller's name's correct. And I really am serious about this. I've actually had contracts recently that had dates that were a year old. One of them had a contract date that expired in 2013. Now, we all know that that's just a typographical error, but it's still important to make sure your information is correct. Make sure you've got accurate legal description. Okay, that's a big one. I had one recently where we had one address and the legal description was for a completely different property. All right, that can create problems down the road when you've got to do an amend extend. All right, don't play games with the contract. Write a straightforward, clean contract that shows the seller and the listing agent you know what you're doing and the buyer is serious about the house. So what I mean by games, don't fool around with, hey, we want the closing fee to all be paid by the seller, and just changing up, hey, we're going to select our title company, but we still want the seller to pay for it. Do the minimum amount of changes to the contract as possible. The cleaner and more consistent you can be with traditional offers, the better that's going to be received. So don't play Mickey Mouse games with that. Next one. You want to have a thank you letter from the agent. In your thank you letter, you want to say, thanks for taking the time to review the offer. We're really excited. We're looking forward to working with you. You want to have a short resume. How many years experience? Who's your mentor? If you're new, hey, I've only been doing this a short time, but my mentor is Charles Roberts or Lon Welsh, and I'm very excited to be working, in this field. How long have you known the buyer? Is this somebody you've known a long time? You've done several transactions with them. This is somebody that you've got a long history with, so you're, very confident. What about other transactions you've done with their brokerage? Okay, so hey, we're working with Cherry Creek. I recently closed another deal with Cherry Creek Properties. You can contact XYZ agent. Also, how many other deals have you done with the lender? All right, you're working with this buyer's lender, and that's a very important piece of the transaction. This is somebody you've worked with 4 or 5 times, or this is a brand new person, or it's an internet lender. We're not really familiar with them. Whatever, make sure you're giving some information to make the seller and the seller's agent feel confident. Now, a bonus step for you guys, this is one that I've done multiple times. I've actually had success, had 3 offers accepted this week, and 3 times the listing agent called me and said, hey, part of the reason we accepted the offer is because of this bonus step. And what this is, have the lender call the listing agent. All right, it's pretty common for the listing agent to call the lender, and say, hey, tell me about the buyer. Are they really pre-approved? Are they really pre-qualified, etc. But you can really set yourself apart if you tell the lender, hey, you know what? We're getting ready to send in an offer for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Would you please call the listing agent and tell them who you are and talk to them about the buyer? And of course, I'm always glad to do that. So I will call and tell the agent about who I am. I'm Joe Massey, Castle & Cook Mortgage. Here's how long I've been in the business. This is what we do. This is our process, and really try and make them feel comfortable. I'll also reinforce that this is a pre-approval. All right, the customer brought me all their information. I sat down with them. It's not simply a pre-qualification based on their verbal information. They have taken the time and committed to the process by bringing me all the documents. And then also really important, I'm going to really give them a testimonial about you. You're a great agent. We've worked together in the past. You've come to some of my training classes. Our previous deals have always closed on time, never had any hassles. Really expect this to be a smooth transaction. So I think that third-party testimonial can really go a long ways. And as I said, of several contracts that I had accepted this week, 3 of the listing agents called me afterwards and said, the fact that we received a call from you made us feel a lot more confident. So I think this could be a really good bonus step to help get your contracts accepted. So just to recap, number 1, send your buyer letter, your love letter. Number 2, pre-approval, not just a pre-qualification. Get pre-approved. That's going to be a big difference. Number 3, bank statement with the proof of funds. Number 4, write a good, clean contract. 5, a thank you letter from you to the listing agent. And number 6, a call from the lender is really going to go a long ways, I think, and really help put their mind at ease that this transaction will close on time and easily. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I know today's video is a little longer than normal. Hope that you guys can use some of these tips, go out, work with your buyers, get more properties under contract. As always, if you need anything from me, please feel free to call me anytime. Joe Massey, 303-809-7769, and of course email jmassey@castlecook.com. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.